All right, so this is one of those classes that we teach every month, okay? And we do that for many reasons. One, because we have new agents coming in every month. Two, because you may learn this today, or you will learn this today. And then when you go to submit your first commission, whether it's 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now, you might forget some stuff. So we do this every month. Plus sometimes things in command change. So we're just here to go over those things with you. So, and sometimes we have 2 people and sometimes we'll have 10, depending on how many agents we have and all that.
Haters.
That was all Noah.
I figured.
Right. Okay, so we're going to start with what we call our compliance flow chart. Okay, and then after I go over the flow chart, Noah from there is going to talk about how to submit your commission specifically in command. Quick question, have either one of you seen this before?
I have once back about 2.5 months ago.
Okay, because I know when we first created it, we went over it in a sales meeting, so I just didn't know. So I'm going to go over it just again for. So what happens is the very first thing that you do is you submit either your consultation or your listing file. So what that means is a consultation would be obviously if you've had a buyer consultation and you have a signed agreement, or if you have a signed listing contract. Okay, we obviously don't need those until they're signed. Once you submit those in command, and again, Owen's going to go over how to do, Noah, we do this all the time. Noah is going to go over how to do that. So I'm just going to go over the process of what happens. So you'll submit those, and then you're going to hit this beautiful blue button that says submit to Market Center. Okay. The interesting thing that we want to remind you guys is if you do not hit that blue button, I will not see them, or Noah will not see them. So be sure you hit that button. The next thing that happens is Noah reviews forms and will send you a message via command if anything is missing. Okay. And then on that, you'll see this little message thing pop up, and you'll click on it, and then you'll see that message from him. Okay. After that, let's say now you have an agreement, right? You've come to an agreement between a buyer and a seller, and you have an offer to purchase. You're going to upload that offer to purchase under the contract file, and you're going to hit that beautiful blue button again that says submit to Market Center. Once we get that one, once you get that, then Noah is going to review it, and he's going to mark it pending broker review. Okay, so our broker reviews every single file that comes through just because they're ultimately legally responsible for all of our files being compliant. Okay, once the broker reviews it, 1 or 2 things is going to happen. She's going to approve it, and then you're done. You don't have to do anything else until it closes, as far as we are concerned, unless you have an amendment or whatnot, but the file's been approved. Or she's going to return it. And if she returns it, there will be a message for you. So you'll look at those comments and see what Michelle, who's our compliance broker, is missing. Then you will upload those new docs. Once missing info is retrieved, you're gonna submit again. You're going to submit those, and then Noah will get a message and he will review it. And again, 1 or 2 things is going to happen. It's going to be approved, or he's going to return it with a message of what he still needs. Okay. Once the broker has reviewed the file, unless there's something major, the broker does not review it again. Noah takes care of all reviewing those and approving them. The big thing for you guys to remember, yes.
How long is the process generally?
Great question. That's exactly what so here's the thing. Noah reviews compliance every single day. Okay. So if you submit, unless he's not here, if it's 1 day, or if he's not here, but I have a check, I will go in and see if you've submitted what you need, and I can approve it and pay you out, right? So it doesn't have to wait for him. So, but he reviews files every single morning. The biggest thing as far as timing is Michelle only reviews files on Tuesday and Tuesday morning. Okay. She reviews files Tuesday mornings, and every file has to be reviewed by her. So if you submit a file on Wednesday, it is not going to be reviewed by Michelle until the following Tuesday. However, if you submit one on Monday, it's going to be reviewed on Tuesday. So it depends on when you submit them. And this is why we tell everybody not to wait until you've closed the deal to submit your files. Because if you're missing documents or you submit it with your check on a Wednesday, she's not going to look at it till the next Tuesday, which means you're not going to get paid until she sees it. So, but normally, you know, if she's reviewed it within 24 hours, Noah will be looking at it again. Does that help, Mark?
Yep.
Okay. So that's
Thanks.
the big thing, is that she only reviews files on Tuesdays. So the quicker, and the other thing is you don't want to close a file and find out you're missing something, and then you got to go back to, hey, we need you to sign this. So it's just best to have them in as soon as you can. Now, there's different rules of thumb, right? Some people wait until maybe the inspection is passed or the appraisal is passed, just to make sure it's not going to get canceled for some reason due to an inspection or appraisal. But you know, and if it does get canceled, then you just cancel it in command, like it's not the end of the world. But I just say the sooner the better, especially for new files, so that you know if you're missing something that you can get it in. Because I don't like to hold up checks, and I have to because I can't pay out a file that's not been reviewed and is not compliant for legal reasons for all of us. So your protection, 100% really. Because if you have an E&O claim and we don't have what we need, it might be an issue. So any questions on the flow chart before Noah goes into how to submit these things?
Are you guys gonna have a copy of this flow chart? Either online or,
If you go into the chat box right now at the bottom of your screen, it says chat.
yep,
I put this flow chart and 2 other cheat sheets in there for transactions and opportunities.
gotcha.
So if you go in, you can download all 3 of those and save them to your computer. But if you'd like, we can email them at a later time if you lose those. But I was just going to mention that if you go download all 3 of those, I'll be covering what the other 2 go over once we get done with this flow chart.
I'm trying to follow your script and give you segues into the next question.
You're doing a very good job, Mark. Joel, any questions before we move on? You good?
Nope, just trying to get these downloaded quick from Noah.
Yeah.
We can email them to you too if you don't, but you should be able to just click on them and they'll be there until the class is over. So you've got, yeah.
Yeah, if you can't see them in the chat, let me know, but it should be the flow chart. One should say start a transaction, and then the other one says opportunities cheat sheet, and they all kind of cover what we're going to go over here in opportunities. And so we can move on to that.
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
So I will cover the opportunities part, and then I'll show you how to create your commission, and then Beth will touch on a couple of the specifics. Yeah. So when you come into your command, you can open it up here, or you can just hover, but you want to go into opportunities. And so whether you have a listing or a buyer, these are the 2 that you want to use. Obviously use the correct one, because it'll give you, it'll automatically generate the correct paperwork slots for you to put. So I'm actually going to create one of these for you, but before I do that, I just want to show why these are here real quick. So you can see your potential and probable income. And the point of that is when you start them over in Cultivate or in Appointment and move them down the little line here, it'll change your potential income to probable income. And so that's like an internal motivation. You'll have a lot less clients falling through the cracks and opportunities. So here, we'll take a look at the numbers. So this is 35 and this is 2. So once you take one, and you can just drag and drop, if you do it correctly. And then once you go and look, you can see that this is still at the 35, but your probable is now up to 11 because you moved it down the line. I kind of skipped a couple, but it'll do the math for you of what your probable will be because now you have a contract. So this isn't required or anything, but it's highly suggested to use because this is a unique tool of KW that we have. And it's all for your benefit to show your probable income and your potential income. All you have to do is just put in a couple pieces of information at the front end, which I'll show you when we start our opportunity here. And it's the same here for the buyers as well. If I were to move those, you can see the same thing.
I'm going to reiterate that too, Noah. So here's what opportunities is exactly what they are. They're opportunities, right? So I would, the minute you put somebody in command and you've had a conversation with them, I would create an opportunity, whether they're a buyer or a seller, and put them at that cultivate stage. That way, if you open command every morning and you look at this, you're like, oh, I have 10 people I'm cultivating. Or you look and you're like, hey, I have 8 people I'm cultivating. I have 2 appointments. I have 2 active. I have 3 under contract. And then you're going to see them go to close. This is going to show you your conversion rate too, right? From cultivate all the way to closed. So, yep. So it's really a really cool tool for you to use. I'll tell you, I don't think agents use it enough. Most people don't create an opportunity until they have a closed contract or at least a contract, whether it's listing or buyer. But I would highly encourage you to use this and put them in the minute that you talk to them and you're cultivating them, because then you can see your business grow.
So what if we have a listing coming up in the, in the spring, in 2022?
Yep.
Should we put that in as under cultivated?
Absolutely. And if you've met with them, move them from cultivate to an appointment, because you've had an appointment with them.
Okay, so then you just add the 1.
So when you get an opportunity, I'll show you what that looks like.
Okay.
But this kind of gives you 3 stages here of you're kind of watching it like 5% out of 100% being closed.
Yep.
And you can drag these along here, but say in the appointment stage, you drag and drop there, you're scheduling one, you scheduled one, and you actually kept it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different spots that you can drag and drop in here, and it's all for your benefit. So you can keep everything organized. So you don't have to keep it organized in your head.
That's really
Or
cool.
on an Excel spreadsheet somewhere else, right?
Exactly. You don't have to keep notes. You just have to drag and drop. And then once you're into active, there's staging, showing, negotiation. You scroll, there's a legacy as well. So you can actually edit the stages if you don't like the names or the percentages, if that's something that you're super picky about as well, because it's your business and how you think is how it's going to go, because this is for you, your command. But does that kind of make sense?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that.
The other thing for you guys to know too, because today we kind of this is very important, but today we specifically, it's kind of, again, what gets you to the table and a check from me. Noah does teach he also teaches an opportunities class every single month that is just on opportunities and commissions. So in that, he delves more into this too. Is that the 3rd week?
Okay.
So that might be.
Generally. Not this month, but generally.
Yeah, generally that one's the 3rd week of the month, but you can look on the calendar. So he really goes into each stage and what you should do and how it affects your business and all that kind of stuff. So
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That's what those other 2 sheets are for as well. The opportunities cheat sheet that you can download. So obviously come to me. I'd be glad to answer your questions, but that cheat sheet is something that you can go over yourself if you're really interested in all the specific details with it as well. But I'll go ahead and create one of these quick. So you just literally create an opportunity. If you're on a team, select it, opportunity type. You just create an opportunity up here. You have to pick. We'll just go with a listing. And then client, this is one specific thing. You have to have their contact in here. So up here in your contacts, you have to have it in here to be able to create it. You can't just create the contact as you're doing this. If you have a co-seller, that's where you can add them. If you have tags, if that's something that you use specifically to organize, there's another place for that. We'll just go ahead and put in a made up estimated close date, but these are all things that the estimated won't be required, but you'll have to have the required close date. So eventually you have to put that in as well. And then you can go ahead and put in an estimated here. You don't have to. Commission rate, put in the correct one. I'm putting in 3, but I'm not an agent, so I don't have a for sure knowing of what that would be. And then here where it says cultivate, you can switch this around, but that's that timeline behind us here. So I'll keep it in cultivate, but say you did start it at the appointment stage, you just didn't put it in right away. You can just start it there, but you can also drag and drop it.
one thing real quick on commission rate, that is your commission. And what I mean by that is if you have the listing and the listing is 6%, but you're paying out a buyer's agent 2.7, then your commission rate is 3.3. Okay, so remember that that rate is what you're getting paid. Okay,
Once you get all that in, you can hit create. So the details, this is a place where you need to come in and put a couple more pieces of information. You can see the pencil right here if you need to edit something in here or add something. Right here, the property, it's nice to have the address. You can also select it up here, but you can go hit the pencil right here, put it all in. We're not gonna do that at the current moment. So you come over here to documents. So since this one's a listing, it'll specifically have it. You gotta come here. It says pick from checklist. I believe you're both residential, but whichever you may be, we're gonna go with residential. But see how it's listed? If I would have went down a buyer's timeline, those two timelines, it would say consultation here. But the other two will stay the same. It just creates folders for the documents so you can put them in. So just make sure you get that. And so then when you scroll down, you can see what's required, what's conditional or optional. You have to have the required ones. I know that in Wisconsin, there's a couple different things that aren't required. Just leave them blank. I might leave a comment when I go in to review compliance, but I sometimes forget because the majority of what we do at our market center is Minnesota, but because I believe that's what these are for. So there's a couple different ways. If you have DocuSign or .loop, which connect with Command, you would go ahead and start a transaction right here. If you use Authentisign, which is through like Transaction Desk, I know a lot of agents use that. You have to save those to your computer, so they would be in your files here. But you can go from your computer, manual is the dropdown. You just hit this, and then you browse from wherever you find them. So if you had a folder for 123 Main Street, if that's our address for this one, you'd go in, click it, click whatever you need, and then open the file, and it would just drop in here. I can actually put something in there so you see what it looks like. Obviously, this isn't the correct thing. So if you do click on the wrong thing, I just put the flow chart in there that we just looked at. It'll take it. It doesn't know. So make sure you're putting in the right one for the right address, because if you put in the incorrect one, then we have to go through the process of resubmitting it. And that might, you know, if you submit on Monday, but you have a wrong document, you might have to wait until the following Tuesday to actually get paid. So make sure you're doing the correct ones, but that's how you submit it there. And then I would go in and check it. But this is what Beth was pointing out, this beautiful green button right here. You have to hit that. So the listed one has it. You can see this is open. When it's open like that, I can't review it. And I'll show you commissions. When it says open, Beth can't even see it. And so once you submit your documents here, so you can do it when you want, but I would suggest once you have the listing agreement signed and everything, put everything in here just so you can keep track of it. And then once you go to under contract, you have your PA. You can see everything that's required here. Put it in when you get it, if you can. And then let's say you put in something, this is gray right now, but if you added something to the PA, obviously that's wrong, so it'll still take it. This green button lights up again, submit it to the market center. So then me and Beth can both see it, we can review it, and you can get paid as soon as possible. So just make sure you're doing that. If you have DocuSign or .loop, like I said, you'd hit start a transaction. So I'll show you what that looks like. I can't show you everything on there because I don't have the paperwork. But when you link your DocuSign to it, it'll take you right there. You just have to log in and it creates a room for you. And it actually sends you an email about it too. We're not going to look at that because I'm not going to do the verification code, but that's how you would do it. And so when you look at that, now you can see that DocuSign's right here. So I would just have all my documents signed through DocuSign. And all I'd have to do is hit this button and a dropdown would show up. And so I'd go find the one named arbitration. I'd click on that and it'd upload it. I don't have to search through all the files and all the folders. And this is actually the room document. So you'll create a specific room for this specific listing. You can see that this is the name of it. One thing that I did forget is always name it something that's gonna keep it separated. So it'll automatically name it your contact name and then listing or buying or buyer, but we'll just say it's 123 Main Street. Just put the address in there because it helps you keep it separated and organized, but it also helps us be able to find it on the compliance side. Because obviously we're not gonna know who your client's name is to figure that out. So then you can save it. And then, so once you have your documents and everything, you can do this at any point. So right away when you create it, you come up here, select from listings. And so just type in whatever the address is. And then over here, it says only my listings. If yours aren't showing up in command, just go to all listings. And then your name will be there. You can just go ahead and select it. And then it will populate there. And then with the details, that's when it automatically puts it in. So I'd suggest doing that right away as well. You can see that obviously the name is wrong. You'd want to put the 3951 Stacker Place up here just for organizational purposes. Do you guys have any questions with these?
That's gonna be a hunt and peck deal for a while for the first couple times.
Yeah, for sure.
For
And
sure.
then that's when you can reach out to me. I'd be glad to help with your first couple times. Because you'd rather get it right and not have headaches, because that would just, you know, cause issues on your end. You wouldn't want to do it anymore. It's just a pain. So we'd rather have it be a smooth process. So that's why we're teaching this once a month. So if it is another month, you can come back to class for a refresher, but you also have those handouts and you have me at your disposal whenever. So just shoot me a text, an email, call me at the Market Center, and we can work out a time to go through all of this together as well. So then.
And you can go in and play with it. You can go in and create a ghost, whatever. I mean, I wouldn't submit it to us because then we'll be like wanting to review it. But you could go in and play with putting documents in and connecting it to DocuSign and,
Yep.
you know, like
So-
I have one for me on my account because I'm not an agent. So when I
Yeah.
try to help somebody, I just pull one up. So you can always do that too.
So like, obviously this one I'm creating right now is just to show you guys the process, and I know there's a lot to it, but you can do this yourself and I'll show you how to delete it afterwards. Because obviously you don't want to go in and hit submit to Market Center, because I'd look at it and be like, I have no idea what this is. You have a compliance flow chart as your MLS input. So I can show you how to delete them, but like Beth is saying, you can go in and just kind of click around if you have some time or if you're interested in doing so. But then once you get your documents, once you get like the PA and all the finalizations done in your transaction, and you have the numbers, you'll want to go in and add the new offer. So it's initially an offer. So if you're a buyer or a seller, you put it in as an offer. So you can name it whatever you want. We'll just name it initial offer and then create it. So this is pretty simple. It's a 4-step timeline here. And you just put in a couple pieces, you go over to the parties. You have to know the name of the other side, whether you're the buyer or the lister. So I'm just gonna put in test just so we can have this go through and you can see it. But putting in their information is just helpful for you, you know, for records purposes. But the only thing required is the red asterisk information here, and you can see that since this is a listing and we're selling, my information is already put in on this side. If we were buying, it'd be over here. If they're pre-approved or pre-qualified, you can put that in as well. And I'll show you why all this information is useful. You can actually compare offers. So if you get more than one, I'll show you how you can do that as well. And then who they're representing, we'll just put that in. And then you can go to next to the terms. This is the numbers. So I'll just put in some made up numbers for now.
$1 million.
For the earnest amount, if you know the actual amount, just type it here and it'll calculate the percentage. But if you only have the percentage, then you can just put it in there. We'll just put it as 1. So it'll calculate it either way. And then, you know, if you have the option, the termination, the contributions, you can put those in here. And then to agent analysis, this is just for you, for who you're representing. So if you think there's a pro, you know, if it's an all cash offer, you can put full cash offer. Con, you know, the type of loan they have, I don't like, or, you know, something like that. It's all up to you. And then summary, you can put, or you can just leave it blank, which is what I'll do here. And so now this is what it looks like. If I would have checked those boxes, here's where that would show. So this is your first offer. So And then you can come in, make a second one. You can make 5 of them because, not every house, especially with what we've seen this year, is getting just one offer. You're getting quite a few. So this is, that took me what, like a minute? It'll take you, maybe 3 if you put in the correct information. So if you go in and you say you just have 2 offers, you just type in all the same information. And so we'll say this one's pre-approved and pre-qualified, so you can see that. And then obviously put in as much information as you want or as you can. And then put in anything you want here, agent analysis. I'll just put that in so you can see where that comes in. And then once you save it, you can see that you have both. But now you can see this button came up. So if I select them all, I can compare the offers. And so you can see my first one that I typed in is test and my second is class. They can compare them side by side. So the summary, the pros and cons, that's blank over here. I put a couple in. So this is something that's useful for your buyer or your seller. And so you can actually download this and send it to them, or you can just send it to them straight to their email from here. And so they can look at this side by side. You don't have to, type it out or put it in an Excel sheet and type it out or show it to them face to face in a printout. You can just do this. It took me, less than 5 minutes as I'm talking to you. And so that's all up to you if you want to do that.
This is awesome when you have a listing and you get 5 offers or 6 offers. Now, back in the day, even a year ago, when we used to get 30, I don't know that I'd put 30 in there because your seller doesn't want to look at 30 anyway. They want to look at the 5 best or whatever. But, this is a great way to present that to your seller and just be able to show them all at one time, the highlights of the offers.
Yep. And so I just hit go back to offers. So now that we're here, we want to be able to get the commission side of things, because this is where you have to put this in all correctly. So that Beth can pay you. That's still under here. So you put it in as an offer and commission. We'll say you want to accept this one. So you accept it, whether you're on the buy side or the list side. And so now this one's just not going to have an option. You can either change response, you can go back and click on this one then, or you can manage the commission. One thing I want to point out before we manage it is right here, you see this open, like we saw in documents. You have to submit to the market center, and I'll show you the beautiful green button again. But if it says open, Beth can't even view it, which means you can't get paid, and we want to pay you as soon as possible. So just one extra click will save the headache. So when you go into manage commission, here it is. You can see contract date. You have to go in and edit, put that in there. But you can see the whole summary here of where the money is going, what you're earning, what's going to the market center, all of that. As you scroll down, you can see all this. So if it's incorrect or you type, a typo, this is where you can correct it. So you go into the agent payment part. And this is also where, if this is a referral to you from a different state or wherever it might be. If you're on a team, I don't believe either of you are, so we don't have to go into that. But deductions, concessions, bonuses, wherever it may be, just add the item. So let's say it was a referral. This is where you hit outside referral and you just type in this information. You have to have the information of the other side of the transaction, their brokerage, their information, so they can get paid their portion of it. And then you would just add that. You can see the red asterisks. That's where it's required. So you do need to know that information. So you might need to contact that agent for this or their brokerage. Hopefully you have paperwork up front, but
No, you will have paperwork up front.
Do you have anything to add to?
Yeah, so what this is let's say somebody, just to further explain, let's say somebody referred an agent to you and you guys have a referral agreement that you pay them 25% of your commission, which is what norm is. There would be a referral agreement that you would have filled out in the front end, and that referral agreement, you've already gathered this information. So you would put in 25% or a specific amount, their tax ID number, the company name, and then that way when I get it, I can pay out that outside referral. is it my turn for quirks and stuff, or you?
Yeah, you can touch on anything in here. I can.
Okay, so a couple of other things, you know, if you want to give a donation to KW Cares or KW Kids Can, you just type them in right there. The E&O, your E&O is paid for, you pay E&O annually, so you don't have to do anything there. Then the ad items, like we've got the referrals, let's see if there's other, like, here's another deduction. So let's say that you have agreed, you know, to pay the broker admin fee of $450 because you don't want your seller or buyer to pay it for some reason, then you would put that in here because we would deduct that from your commission. So you just put in $450 and put, you know, broker admin or admin fee. Those are about the only deductions I see other than your KW Cares and stuff that's already there for you. I think that's it. And neither one of you are on a team, right? So we don't need to talk about splits, right?
Nope.
Right.
And then the one thing I want to point out is over on that right-hand side where you see the summary. And I have to look at it. I can't see it on that screen. So the associate royalty is what goes to KWRI. That's your 6%. Okay, so as you know, you pay 6% royalty up to a max of $3,000 for your anniversary year. Then the company commission is what's paid to the market center. So that's your cap. That's your 70-30 split. So the 30% of that comes to us again into your anniversary year. And so then you'll see, you know, if you have any other deductions, if you've put in KW Cares or if you're paying that $450 fee or whatever, that can go there. And then you'll see what's paid to you. And right under paid to you, there's a little button that says add a note. If there's anything quirky or if you have a question on the commission, you can always put it there, because when I get the check, I open up this commission tab just to see if there's anything on there that I need to make special note of. Like if you have a referral and you forgot to put it in, you can say, you know, 25% referral fee needs to go to this person. I forgot to input it. And then that will change as you pay in, right? So as you get each one of these you submit, once it's processed, when you submit the next one, you know, based on price, and as you get closer to your cap, once you've capped, then you're going to see that company commission at 0. So it does track your commissions.
Do you guys have any questions on
And then
the
there's the
offer
submit
information?
And then that's this blue submit button. That one doesn't actually say submit to MC, it just says submit, but there it is.
So you can see it's open right here. If you were to hit submit, see, I'm missing information, so it doesn't even let me. So you want to go get that information inputted, submit it, and then it'll submit successfully. I do want to point out one thing is when you submit your commission, you can't go back and edit it. So when we were in with documents, you could see that I put this in, but I could go here and I could remove it, and then I could update a different one and put in a different document there, the correct document. When you want to go to your commission, you come back into manage. Once you hit submit here, it doesn't, like, you can't go back and edit it.
Submit it.
So if it is incorrect, if you realize that after you hit that button, you want to message Beth, get a hold of her, say it's incorrect, redo the commission. So you just go back to offers and commissions and you'd add a new offer, type in all the same information of the one that you want to accept, and then you could go ahead and submit the correct information. So just be careful, but make sure you are submitting it, and this will turn to submitted and it'll be green.
And then it will change to approve once I've imported it, and you'll see that I've approved it. So I know it's a lot of information in one class, guys. We try to do as good of an overview as we can, but like Noah said, one, we teach this every month, and you know, if you got an offer tomorrow and you needed help getting it in, you know, that's what we're here for. So don't feel like you have to wait till a month or feel like, oh my goodness, I don't know how to do this, right? We're here. And we're always here. And if it's 10 o'clock at night and you're doing it and we're not here, there's 1,000 YouTube videos out there. You could Google Scott Leroy, who's the one that he sent you those documents from. He has 100, probably more than that, videos. You could Google Scott Leroy and type in how to submit a commission and you'd find a bunch of them. So there's also lots of resources if it's late at night or 10 o'clock on Saturday morning and you can't reach one of us. So.
Good.
Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Well, once I get one on there, I'll be contacting you to walk me through it again.
Yeah, please do.
You don't know what you don't know until you do it, so.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And I promise you, once you've done 2 or 3, I've seen systems that are a whole lot harder than this. It's just the fact that it's a new system and you haven't used it right? It's pretty intuitive. And once you've done a few, it can be, you'll get it. So,
Yeah, it flows.
yeah.
Nope, I don't think
Prior
I-
to command, you had to fill out a manual green sheet. So, and you couldn't track stuff like this. I like, because you can track, you can see where it's at, so it's cool.
That is all we have on how to get paid. So when that time comes, hopefully it's sooner rather than later. I'd be glad to sit down or just talk with you over Zoom to help you out with that. You guys have a lot at your disposal to help out, but if you guys don't have any more questions, we can let you go to get on with your days and go create some opportunities.
That's right.
Perfect.
Thanks, you guys.
Thanks, you guys.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
You also.
Bye.